Ninja Gaiden 1 was one of my favorite games for the NES, and the same goes for the sequel, Ninja Gaiden 2, The Dark Sword of Chaos, featuring incredibly buff ninja Ryu Hayabusa. Look at how buff he is. Same thing with the first game. The cover art of him is chiseled, but Ryu in the actual game, I don't know. It doesn't look quite that big, but the cover artist did do him some favors. Like it says at the bottom there, it's hard to beat! I like how they were advertising that. Ninja Gaiden 1 is known as... I think its reputation is that it's one of the hardest NES games. And Ninja Gaiden 2, also pretty hard. I don't think it's as hard as the first game, but still they were advertising that this is a game that is hard to beat. Look, back then, that meant you'd get your money's worth. You're going to be playing this for a while, because it's hard. Don't think you're going to finish this in a day. You will not. That was the idea. But, Ninja Gaiden 2. Alright, so what can we expect from this game? We can expect much of what we got from the first game, in terms of the gameplay. In terms of the cutscenes, of course, Ninja Gaiden 1, well-known... Well, another reason it's well-known was because it was one of the first games to actually have real cutscenes, like an actual emotional story accompanying the gameplay, just getting you invested. And Ninja Gaiden 2 is the same, continues on with the same format that we had in the first game. Game takes place 1 year after the events of the first game, when Ryu Hayabusa defeated the Jakio in the Temple of Darkness in Brazil, I believe it was, rescuing his father, only for his father to die, and defeating the demon, and then meeting Irene, a CIA agent, who they kissed. Like, they only knew each other for a few minutes, and then they kissed at the end, and then the gigantic sun was hurtling towards the Earth, or at least that's what it looked like at the end. This game takes place 1 year after that, and I think it is time to get going with some Ninja Gaiden 2. Let's start this game. And here we go. All right, we got a new villain. It's Ashtar. He just loves standing on top of his castle and reciting his plan to himself and laughing about dominating all men. All of them. We're going to start this game. Act 1, we're starting off in the big city. We don't know what city this is. It's an enormous city. Ryu is being attacked by enemies. He's going to kill them. Actually, this looks like the Barbarian, the first boss from the first game. He is much smaller now and can be killed in one shot. We will be seeing this. Clones of the bosses from the first game. Or apparently, at least that's what Nintendo Power says they are. They're just kind of walking around, not really hurting anyone, though. But Ryu is a ninja, and he is a master of killing. He's a good ninja, though. He does not kill for evil. We're getting power-ups, but unfortunately, the most useful power-up from the first game is missing, the jump and slash. It could be used to basically murder all of the bosses from the first game. They took it out, I assume because it was overpowered, but in its place we have a new power-up. Clones. Ryu can now make his own posse. He's got some friends he's going to take with him. They're just himself. He can make clones of himself. He can use the sword. He can also use power-ups like that, special attacks. You can basically multiply your special attacks by getting your clones. That's something we're going to be using a lot. Look at these crawling guys. What are these guys? They're just, like, shambling with, like, their big knife hands. Ryu just kind of runs into them and trips over. They have to die because of that. Look, they're evil. Ryu knows this. He has a certain sense. Two clones. We now have 2 clones. This is the maximum number of clones we can have, however. We cannot have more than this, unfortunately. Maybe fortunately. Because, you know, the presence of these clones is going to add to the flickering of the game a little bit. It's probably good that we can't have more than these, otherwise the flickering would be out of control. It is the NES after all. Alright, time for the first boss. It's time for Dondo the Cursed. Look at him, he is so cursed. That's it for Dondo. It's Act 2. Irene has been kidnapped, and now we're on a train. Where are we going? You know, this game is not entirely clear about locations. We're going to the Tower of Lahja. Where is that? I don't know. Rio seems to know where that is. That we're going there on this train. We got a ticket? Well, we're probably a stowaway. Ryu does not pay for it. Ninjas don't need to. One thing about this game is that the story is not... It's not clear about where anything is taking place. In the first game, you got a fair idea about where things were happening. Like, much of the game took place in Brazil, going into the forest, to the Temple of Darkness. So you had a basic idea of where things were. In this, where is this tower? I don't know. Good thing Ryu does. That's kind of like how the whole game is. You don't really know where anything is or how we know how to get there. But Robert T.S. is telling us we have to go there because Irene has been kidnapped. I don't know if Ryu has been seeing Irene in the year since Ninja Gaiden 1. Or is this the first that he's heard of her since then? We don't know. All he knows is that we've made it to the front of the train and now we're in the mountains. It's snowing. But actually, that means it's windy. Oh, look at this wind. It's pushing me back. The mountain winds threaten to blow us off these cliffs. Actually, they're here to mess with our jumping. Like, if you jump and the wind changes unexpectedly, then, you know, your jump is not going to go how you think it's going to go. So you got to be careful about that. Fortunately, the wind cannot push us around as we grab the walls. Oh, Ryu can now climb up and down walls without being ladders. He couldn't do that in the first game. He could climb up and down ladders, but not bare walls, so he has improved his ninja climbing in the year since the first game. So his skills have improved. Also, up here is a new item. It's a scroll. I want to get that scroll, because what it does is it adds 10 points to my ninja power, allowing me to use more ninja magic. It's an unusual item, because it's a permanent item. It gives us a permanent buff in terms of our points. Here's a 1-up. Gonna get that. Ninja Gaiden 1 didn't have anything that gave you any permanent buffs. Here is a large pit. Ryu's ninja legs cannot carry him over this pit. We have to wait for the wind to help us. For Mother Nature to help us with our quest. There's Jason. There are many Jasons. Actually, Nintendo Power calls those enemies Jackson. Because they... You know why. They're not going to call him Jason. He's Jackson. And up here, we're going to face the next boss at the top of the mountain. It's Baron Spider. Why is he called that? Because he throws spiders at us. Look at him throw these spiders. He's just standing up there, throwing... Who does that? Who just throws spiders at people from above? What a jerk Baron Spider is. But that's it for Baron Spider. Ryu now knows the name of his new enemy. Ryu had no problem finding that tower. No problem at all. He just went straight there. In a shot reminiscent from the first game, Ryu looks at the tower from afar. He continues on his path, but this time it is a dark path, illuminated only by the lightning. But Ryu cannot wait for the sun to rise. He has to get there as fast as he can. Who can say what's happening to Irene right now? You'd think that Ashtar would have contacted Ryu himself. You know, if Ashtar is holding Irene hostage, you'd think that it's the responsibility of Ashtar to mention this to Ryu, to say, you should probably come over here, because I have your girlfriend. But no, he didn't. Robert was the one to find out. Whoop. Well, that was close. This guy's very slow, but we do have to wait for him. Otherwise, we will get bounced into the pit. Not the first time the game... Not the last time, I should say, that the game will pull that trick. There's just someone walking real slow, but you have to wait. Whoop. See, it got bounced. And I lost my friends, unfortunately. Look at this guy. What is this guy? What would you call that? What is this guy doing? He's like hopping and turning into a little ball. Maybe that's his own ninja art. I don't know. His own martial art. But yes, one of the biggest challenges of this game, just like the first game, is that it's easy to get bounced. And that's usually how you die. Not really from your health going down to 0, but rather getting bounced into pits. Anyway, I'm getting my friends back, as you can see. Gotta be patient. Oh, another of the biggest challenges of the games. The enemy, when you get into a spot where the enemies just keep respawning at the edge of the screen. That's also one of the big challenges. Oh, here's a clone of the second boss from the first game. It's Bassequaire. He jumps around and throws knives. That's what he does. It's his thing. The manual from Ninja Gaiden 1 said he knows every martial art, and that's just the one he uses. Here's Bomberhead. Actually, Bassequaire is the third boss. Bomberhead is the second boss. As you can see, Ashtar employs many of these roly bouncy guys. He has many of them on the payroll. The tower doesn't really make much sense. We're inside the tower right now, if you didn't notice. There's just like pits and like a whole bunch of stairs. I died. That spider shot a spider projectile. Now, you may have never seen a spider shoot their projectile. You don't see it too much in Nate. I died again. Easy to fall off. But if you get too close to a spider, they will shoot their spider projectile. Also, I want to make sure that I get this one down here. That's a scroll. So now I have 60 ninja magics. Probably I should take it a little bit slower, considering the deaths that I've been experiencing. No problem with being patient. Ashtar will wait. Oh, that was Bloody Moth, the clone of the guy from the first game who fought Ryu's father, and we thought killed him, but he did not because the father was actually still alive, and then we had a very emotional confrontation against Ryu's father. In a fight. Well, I shouldn't say a fight to the death, because neither of them died in that fight. Anyway, we're at the boss. We're at the top of the tower. Time to face Funky Dynamite. The best name of any of the bosses in this game. And I think I've locked him. Okay, yes. I think I've got him in a lock. Funky Dynamite is helpless against this. There we go. Oh no, this isn't even the sword's final form. Anyway, Ryu has gone into the underground maze, which is on fire. It's just full of fire. There's a lot of fire. Why is it on fire? I don't know. Where is the underground maze? I assume it's underneath the tower. I'm going to assume that because I don't know where else it would be. So Ashtar, that villainous fiend, using Ryu's attachment to Irene to get him to drop his guard so he could shoot him with evil sword energy. And as Robert said, the dark sword came from the bone of the demon that Ryu killed at the end of the first game. I want to make sure I get this over here, because that's a scroll. I now have 70 ninja magics. Gotta wait for him. Be patient. There we go. These things that are popping out of the lava, Nintendo Power calls them psychic brains. I don't necessarily think they look like brains. I also don't know why psychic brains would be jumping in and out of lava like that. Or rather fire, not really lava. By the way, we're like jumping over a pit full of fire. Just everything's on fire here. I guess it is evil fire from the realm of chaos where Ashtar comes from. But now here's water. Or is it water? The answer might surprise you. The currents will prevent us from running fast. Well, I mean, sometimes we'll run fast and sometimes we'll have to run against the current. Whoop. I could tell that was gonna come. Sometimes you realize something's gonna happen, and then your reflexes just aren't fast enough to stop it. Advantage of getting hit when you're on the wall is that you can't get bounced, so sometimes it's good to just stick to the wall when you get hit. That's just advice for life. You're in a fight, grab onto the wall. Both Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2 have really good soundtracks. I don't know which I think is better, but I think both of them are very good. Like, I would say they're up there as far as best music on the NES. We're heading towards the right, but let's just go back to the left for a little bit. So we can get this one up. I have been taking some deaths, so probably a good idea to collect whatever one-ups I can. Ryu's arm strength, very impressive. He is climbing against a waterfall. Or, well, water. Is it water? We will see. As we face the boss, Naga Satuva, and oh no, it was his saliva the whole time. Like, his saliva is just flowing all over the place. We're running in it. I don't think Ashtar's head was literally that big. I think that was just sort of metaphorical. Like, Ashtar is in Ryu's head is, I think, the idea? I don't think he was a giant. Oop. Almost got bounced the bad way. Alright, we're making our way through the Maze of Darkness. We've almost reached Ashtar's lair, where he waits for the confrontation with Ryu. It hasn't been very dark. It's actually been illuminated quite well. Also want to get this one over here. That's a scroll. I now have 80 ninja magics. And also down here's a 1-up. I missed it. That one's hard to get. And now we're in Antarctica. Maybe. Look, it's ice, it's slippery, and look, I don't know where we are. We came out of the maze, and it's all ice. So who can say we're not in Antarctica? Maybe that's where we are. Like I said, not really a great sense of place in this game and compared to the first game. The first game, you went to a city in the US. Then you went to sort of the countryside to find Walter Smith. Then you went to Brazil to go find the temple. And this is more like, we're just going to a variety of environments, but we don't really know where. Like that ninja just jumps out of that pit. Ryu should take lessons on how to jump like that, because that was a big jump. Like, if another ninja can do it, surely the Ninja Dragon can. Ryu's supposed to be the best ninja, but I got bounced. Maybe he's not the best ninja after all. Bounced again. Ryu really needs to work on his anti-bouncing tech. He's basically made of rubber. On the other hand, he can climb up ice, which is pretty impressive. Alright, time to do battle with Ashtar, the Emperor of Darkness, who teleports around and then just kind of like does this with fireballs. You'd think he would use his sword, since the sword has been such a big deal, but he really doesn't. And that's it for Ashtar. He probably should have used the sword. Alright, Irene is injured, and Robert's gonna lead her out of here, back to safety. In the meantime, Ryu, following killing Ashtar, yes, Ashtar's dead, has to find this altar that apparently he has set up. Because the Sword of Darkness teleported. Just teleported away. Where did it go? Well, not there. Not down there. That's not where we need to be, Ryu. Somewhere there's an altar and the sword, and we have to find it. And we're apparently in some sort of ancient wrecked civilization. Look at these ruins around us. Going deeper and deeper underground. And also, we want to make sure we get that orb up there. That's a scroll. Now I have 90 ninja magics. Ryu becoming more and more powerful as time goes on. He's able to shoot more fire. Also, let's make sure that we use the fire wheel. Around here. That makes a 1-up fall from the ceiling. Even though Ashtar's dead, there are like tons of enemies still attacking us. Where is this? Alright, Ryu is on the path to that big evil-looking castle. I guess if you're looking for an evil altar, It's a pretty sure bet that's where you're gonna find it, I guess. Like, there's no... That's the most likely location, probably. In the meantime, Robert and Irene have run into a problem. Some large man who is going, Well, I mean, a lot of villains do that. Villains like to laugh in Ninja Gaiden. They know how to have a good time. But we have entered the mouth of the castle, and inside we find a boss from the first game. It's Kelberos, the demon dog. You have to take my word for it. It'd be kind of hard to see due to the flickering on the screen at the bottom row right now. But yeah, this is Kelberos from the first game. Okay, Rob is going to hold off the legion of monsters while Ryu runs into the castle, which features this big slime fall. Look at all the slime. Just coursing down. It's like one of the 7 wonders of the world. The big green slime fall of the Temple of Dark. No, Temple of Darkness was the first game. They have not given a name for this castle. Anyway, Irene has been captured again. Second time in this game. And Robert just has to hold everyone off on his own. I mean, he has a gun, so I'm sure he'll be fine. But I could tell it was going to land on him. The birds, of course. I haven't really mentioned the birds much, but the birds are traditionally the most well-remembered enemies of Ninja Gaiden, I think. They can just come up from anywhere. And once again, usually you won't die from losing all your health, you'll probably die from being bounced into a pit, as they can do. If only Ryu's sensei taught him the secret ninja art of killing birds, but it was never taught. No, it was not. Here's a scroll. I have 100 ninja magics. I think that's the last one of the game. the slime is speeding up. That slime is real agitated now. Now let's get a 1-up. It's the end of the line for Rob, but also the end of the line for Ryu as we enter the final area, and you can tell because of the hearts in the wall. You can tell things are getting serious when the walls have their own internal organs. Just pumping who knows what to who knows where. Oh, I should get this. Do you think that Ashtar just like made the conscious decision to decorate the temple with pulsating hearts, or is that just like a phenomenon that happens? Like you don't plan for it, just kind of grows. And here's the loneliest room of all, like this one room where there are like a couple of enemies over there. They can't get out, they can't move, they can't leave. They're just there on that little cliffside. Oh well, I'll have to leave them behind. Look how many hearts there are. I like the pulsate. They spent some care on that pulsating animation, I think. Oh. And let's get this one up right here. There we go. I was about to say I needed that potion, but I got bounced right after getting the potion. But a neat thing is that the 1-ups always come back. So if you're dying in a level that has a 1-up, you can just keep getting the 1-up. Which is nice. That's one of the nice... that's a nice little thing that Ninja Gaiden throws your way. Actually, like I said, overall, I do think this is an easier game than the first one. Though, oddly, in a way, because it's easier, I've traditionally had a harder time with it. Because since Ninja Gaiden 1 is so unforgiving, it kind of made me get really good at the game to be able to get through it at all. Whereas when Ninja Gaiden 2 is much easier to bumble your way through, so you don't have to get as good. Which makes it actually kind of harder, in a way, if that makes sense. Anyway, here's this guy. He's gotta wait for him. There we go. That was the final guard before the final room, which is in here. Who is the mastermind behind everything? Alright, and it's time for the rematch between Ryu and Jacchio. Jacchio hasn't really learned all that much. He just kind of flies around and shoots fireballs, though granted, he was the hardest boss in the first game. But we do have our clone friends who can help us out by grabbing the wall and try to slash him when he flies by like that. So apparently Ashtar was just a pawn, and Jacchio was the real mastermind after all, who was not dead. I mean, maybe he is now. We will see. Oh no, he turned into an evil room! This evil room is so drippy. The room has been defeated. But is this the final form of all evil? The mighty demon has been resurrected, the source of all evil, and there goes its head. And now it just... There's a lot of gross stuff that comes out of its neck. Just avoid the gross stuff and slash at the heart. And okay, the source of all evil is dead. And with the forces of evil defeated, the sun decided not to collide into the earth after all, and went away forever. Roll the credits. Now let's find out if the developers were able to put their real names in it this time. Which, of course, they were not in the first game. Project Ninja 2. Who made it? The Cinema Display... Not cutscenes, but Cinema Display unit. The story was written by Sarah H. and S. Sakurazaki. All right, we got some initials, but those could be real names. Run Mal. He was credited in the first game as Run Maru. A little bit of a difference on the translation there. The artwork was done by Ranmil and Harumi Heart Okada. The artwork was also done by Izumi Kataoka Masami Takizawa. These look like real names. They could be. The program work done by Nosuke? Only just Nosuke. Nothing else. Directed by Run Mal. What about the action unit? They made the actual gameplay. The BG artwork, done by Yoshiaki Goto and DH Max, and Harumi Heart Okada also doing double duty on that. Who designed these enemies? It was Ranmul and Yoshiaki Goto and Naga. The program work? Madoka Southern Ami. Only one program worker. It was directed by Sakurazaki. Ooh, the sound. I like the sound of the game. Who was responsible for that? The music was composed by S. Kajiya and Mayu. Again, they could be parts of real names. Sound effects by Mia. Just Mia. Doing those sound effects. Respect to Mia. But who was the sound director? It was S. Kajiya. Who designed this game? Well, the illustration was by Shinobu Ibuyashi. Only one illustrator. I guess that means concept art, probably. And the Ed designer? Takashi Saito designed the Ed. It was a good job designing that Ed. Special thanks to Akihiko Fa and Kiji Yamagishi. Who did the English translation? Well, it was Daniel Call. And the executive producer? Hideo Yoshizawa. Audio-visual. You know, I realized Irene in this game looks like Velma, but no glasses. I just realized that. I kind of like the big Blade Runner hair from the first game. She doesn't have the poofy hair, but she also didn't really do anything in this game. She got kidnapped a lot and killed, but she got brought back to life. Ryu got his girlfriend back, but he lost his sword. So, you know, I guess, you know, you win some, you lose some. It was a pretty cool sword. I'm just saying it's a pretty cool sword. Also, poor Robert. Robert died. No one thought about Robert. He risked his life to hold off the demons, the monsters, while Ryu could go into the castle and fight monsters. I assumed that there were more monsters coming from the outside. And then he died facing them. And Ryu and Irene did not think about him at all. No one thinks about old jungle rat Rob. But that's the end. That's the sequel to Ninja Gaiden. Very much a continuation of the first game, of both in terms of gameplay and story. Look, you want to know what's going on with this demon world? There are more people trying to bring back the demon, trying to bring the world of chaos and darkness into our world. And someone has to stop him. And the only one who can is this very young-looking ninja. You know, when Ryu takes his hood off, you don't really think about it. But when he takes it off, it's like, is he, like, 14? Like, how old do you think he is? He looks like a very young man. But he is also the Ninja Dragon. I don't know if he would be considered the Ninja Dragon anymore, since he no longer has the dragon sword. Like, basically, Irene fused with his sword. Do you think Irene could turn into the sword? Because that could be pretty cool. If, like, during times of urgency, she transformed into the sword. I don't know if that's how it works. I'd kind of like it if that's how it worked. But the Tribe of Chaos foiled once again by Ryu as he murdered everyone. And, well, I hope you enjoyed this playthrough of Ninja Gaiden 2, The Dark Sword of Chaos. I was always on the fence as to which I liked more, Ninja Gaiden 1 or 2. Ninja Gaiden 1 gameplay is more strict, I think. It's more tight. It is harder. Ninja Gaiden 2 is more looser, a little bit more forgiving. I mean, you may not realize it because it is advertised as being hard to beat. But there are elements from the first game that were a lot less forgiving that they toned down on in this one. Still, you're not going to beat it in a day, probably. But just like Ninja Gaiden 1, Ninja Gaiden 2 is one of my favorite NES games, and I hope you enjoyed this playthrough of it. But we're not quite done because we got supplementary materials to look at. So we're going to start with the manual after we come back from a short break. We're going to look at the manual, see what it has to say about this story and these characters. So we're not quite done yet. We'll be back after the break. All right, let's have a look at this. Ninja Gaiden 2. Oh, hold on. That doesn't look quite right. We have to do a little... No, do a little of this, then a little of that. Get that centered here. That's not quite right. We want Ryu to look his best. There we go. That's probably... That looks good. Okay. Ninja Gaiden 2, Dark Sword of Chaos. Ryu in the big city, which is clearly New York in this image. I don't know if it was always supposed to be New York, but you can clearly see the World Trade Center in the background. So, Ninja Gaiden 2, I guess he no longer lives in Japan. Ninja Gaiden 2 does not. Ninja Gaiden now lives in the U.S., in New York City. He enjoys the big city life. And that's where he was attacked by the Tribe of Darkness. Let's learn about them. Well, first of all, it's thanking us for selecting the fun-filled Ninja Gaiden 2 game pack. Let's see what Tecmo thinks about that. Ninja Gaiden 2 is another fine addition to the Tecmo Theater series where fascinating storylines are combined with movie-like animation. The cinema display technique is used in Ninja Gaiden 2, which is the second part of the continuing saga of the Ninja Ryu. Let yourself be drawn into the world of Ninja Gaiden 2 as the story, with its amazing audio and visual thrills, unfolds right before your very eyes on your television screen. In this game, many exciting action scenes await you. You must use your special techniques to make your way through the game and towards the conclusion of the story. Enter the world of Ninja Gaiden 2. And have a great time. Really talking it up. I mean, it's a good game. It's a very good game, so it deserves it. In the story, they're talking about the story from part 1. In order to avenge his father's death, Ryu had come to America, where he was suddenly attacked by a mysterious army. After escaping from an hour brush with death, Ryu came face to face with a mysterious woman. Fire came shooting out of the shining gun in her hand, and suddenly everything in front of Ryu began to grow hazy. Waking up in an underground dungeon, Ryu was handed a strange statue by the same woman who told him to take it and make his escape. Without fully understanding what was going on around him, Ryu took the statue and made his way out of enemy territory. So you remember he was shot by Irene in the first game, and this Ninja Gaiden 2 had a callback to that when Robert pointed his gun at Ryu, but he didn't shoot Ryu, he shot Dando, the boss who was behind him. Ryu went to see Dr. Smith, an archaeologist friend of his father, and learned about the light and dark statues of an evil demon. Just as they were talking, the dark statue was snatched away by an enemy ninja. Ryu, go after him! After retrieving the statue, he returned to Dr. Smith's cabin, only to find the doctor lying on the floor, mortally wounded. Just before he died, the doctor whispered, "Ryu, the light statue has been taken." When Ryu looked up from Dr. Smith's side, he found that he was surrounded by a band of men dressed in black, from head to foot. They were all pointing guns at him. These men took Ryu to a secret CIA base and to the office of Chief Foster. Foster explained to Ryu that the mysterious woman, Irene, was really a spy for the CIA, and told him about Jacchio's plans and about his Temple of Darkness. Foster then forced Ryu to take on the perilous mission of recovering the stolen light statue of the evil demon. Ryu made his way toward the Temple of Darkness, located deep in the Amazon jungle. But Jakio, who was holding Irene hostage in the temple, blackmailed Ryu into giving up the dark statue of the demon that he had been carrying and dumped Ryu down into an underground cave. Remember that scene? Ryu is standing on a trapdoor, and he gets dropped down after he gives up the statue, and Jakio laughs and has a good time. Ryu was finally able to escape from the cave, but as he climbed over the last cliff, he came face to face with the villain who killed his father, Bloody Moth. Moth had been waiting for him. Ryu and Moth dueled to the death. With the last breath, Moth gave Ryu some unexpected news. Your father is alive. A masked demon was waiting inside the shrine to fight off Ryu's attack. Ryu shouted, "Nobody can beat me!" But the eerie voice of Jakio thundered the question, "Not even your own father?" The masked demon was really Ryu's father, Ken, who had been put under some kind of trance. Finally freed from Jakio's evil control, Ken came to his senses only to find that Jakio was about to kill Ryu. Ken threw himself in front of Ryu and acted as a shield to protect his son from the balls of fire. Realizing what had happened, Ryu went mad with rage and charged at Jakio. After defeating Jakio, Ryu rushed back to his father's side. His father instructed him to take the light and dark statues of the evil demon out of the temple. But just as Ken was gasping this message to his son, the moon began to glow dark. "It's an eclipse," shouted Ryu. The statues of the evil demon began to grow in the darkness. The moon, blackened by the earth's shadow, was beginning to bring the evil demon back to life. But the evil demon was finally defeated, and the temple crumbled upon itself with a deafening roar. Ryu and Irene looked out upon the ruins of the temple. A morning sun shone down upon them and cleared up the deep sense of darkness and evil that had once hovered in the air. A year has passed, and still the activity down at the bottom of the realm of darkness continues. Ashtar, the evil lord who secretly controls Jakio, is now on the move. And so that's our premise. That's a complete recap of Part 1. Got to know what happened in Part 1 to really appreciate what happened in Part 2. Tells us about our health meters and such. Names of the controller parts. Remember, the official name of the D-pad is the control cross. It's not called a D-pad. Ryu can run, crouch, climb down. He can attack from the wall. Sure, can't everyone? He's a ninja. Techniques for sure victory. Split your body for multiple attack. Ryu has the power to split his body into 3. The extra images that he makes by splitting his body will stop right in midair after he jumps down from any high place. Use this special technique to attack enemies that fly toward you. This technique is especially effective when you're attacking the boss of the 3rd stage. That would be Funky Dynamite, I believe. By causing Ryu's body to split, you can also use the extra images to attack the enemies that come at Ryu from both sides at once. Talks about using the fire wheel. You can see like the enemy here is shocked at the fire wheel coming up from below. Everyone's surprised by it. Talks about using a swift kickoff jump from the wall, get out of tight pinches. Talking about those techniques when you're wall climbing. Eliminate your enemies with the windmill star. So the windmill throwing star is that big orange throwing star that I used a lot. It's very useful, especially when you have clones. Items, there's ninja power, there's a scroll. Split. I like that they don't call it clones. They don't call them clones. They say splitting your body. Surely there's a more elegant way of describing that. Medicine for recovery, 1-up. Bonus. Oh, the manual is black and white, so splitting your body is labeled with red, and 1-up is labeled with blue. Couldn't tell just by looking because it's black and white. There's the throwing star, the windmill star, the art of the fire wheel, the fire dragon balls, and the invincible fire wheel. Once again, though, no jump and slash. Ryu forgot that one. It was just too good. It was a forbidden technique, too devastating for the world. He had to wipe it from his memory, so the world will never know about the jump and slash. Characters, Ryu Hayabusa. Ryu was born in the House of Hayabusa, which is a branch of the Dragon Clan. Once before, Ryu was engaged in a fierce battle with Jakio over the statues of the evil demon, and was able to come out the victor only after a very difficult battle. Yeah, you're telling me. Ryu is also known as the Ninja Dragon, and he has possession of the secret dragon sword. Irene Liu. Irene is one of the CIA's top secret agents. She first met Ryu a year ago when they were both trying to defeat Jakio. After their battle with Jakio ended, she was assigned to a new top secret mission. Alright, so I guess maybe Ryu has not seen her in the year since, because she was immediately assigned to a new mission, so maybe he doesn't know where she is since then. Robert T.S., this mysterious man whom Ryu meets during the game wants to use the dragon sword together with Ryu. What could his motive possibly be? Even though they make him sound mysterious, he's just a good guy. He's straight up. No deception here. Ashtar, the evil lord, Ashtar, the leader of the demon clan, is planning to bring back the Sword of Chaos and open the Gate of Darkness. By using the underworld power that comes from the Gate of Darkness, Ashtar is scheming to gain absolute power and rule over the world. Sure, I mean, he's kind of vague about what he wants. He's just like, darkness, chaos, open the gate, ha ha ha. Basically evil stuff. Near the bosses, Dando the Cursed. Ashtar gathered up the wandering spirits of the Vikings, ancient warriors who were lost in sea battles, and gave them new life as a monster under his control. He is especially skilled in hand-to-hand combat. Baron Spider. One of the scientists at the Zabel Biological Research Institute was working on research into a new species of spider. When he was bitten, as a result of this bite, the scientist was transformed into a creature that is half spider and half man. When the strange being comes on the attack, he can jump gracefully through the air and control his pet monster spiders, just as they were his own hands and feet. Funky Dynamite. This cyborg was created based upon the giant Commodore lizard. This creature is equipped with a high-output propulsion mechanism and has fantastic mobility. It also has a firebomb, which it uses as a weapon when attacking. And then there's Nagasatuva, the underworld water dragon. From ancient times, this dinosaur has been living in the waters of the underworld. He attacks Ryu with his huge claws. So, Dando, he's dead. He's a wandering spirit. He's a Viking. So Dando's not actually a demon from the other world. He's a human who is being coerced to work for Ashtar. Baron Spider, he's a human too. He had like a scientific accident. And now he is an evil Spider-Man. Like he was bitten by a radioactive spider. And then he became an evil version of Spider-Man. Except he, controls spiders. He goes in that direction of being a Spider-Man. Funky Dynamite doesn't say if he was originally human. It says he's based upon a lizard, so I don't know if that means that when they say he's a cyborg, is he human and robot, or did they just take a Commodore lizard and put technology on it until it became Funky Dynamite? I don't know which way that went. Kind of like that idea, though. And then this is just a dinosaur. There's a dinosaur living underground with an immense amount of saliva. That's all it is. Seems kind of innocent, actually. Even though Ryu has used up all of his energy and can't go on any longer, you still have another chance to get the enemy. Resolve to win the next battle, and then press the start button to continue playing from the beginning of the stage where Ryu was defeated. Then you have the memo section, if you want to write down notes. I always like that. You can just write down notes in the manual I don't know what you would be writing down. Just like things that you learned about the game that you want to remember. Yeah, watch out for birds. 90-day limited warranty. Compliance with FCC regulations. Special bonus offer. You interested in any of these games? Here's the official Tecmo ID badge, though that would be very small. You think about the size of this manual. This is not a badge. This is more like a stamp. Well, that is the manual for Ninja Gaiden 2. It didn't go into quite as much detail on these bosses, I think, as the first game did. And I think the first game was a bit more inspired as far as the descriptions go for these guys. But that's not all we have. There's more supplemental material when it comes to Ninja Gaiden 2, and that's because Nintendo Power released a strategy guide for the game. Now, I had this as a kid. This is not my scan. This scan came from the Nintendo Power archive. Also, the manual came from thegameisafootarcade.com. The guide comes from nparchivewordpress.com, and they have very high quality high-resolution scans of this strategy guide. I remember it well. I'm going to take a little drink because of all the talking Just a little drink. So, Ninja Gaiden 2, Nintendo Power said that you would learn the secret arts of a ninja master. Let us find out. So, they really went all out for the strategy guide. Like, they made a comic for this, which is the main reason I wanted to look at this. Well, first of all, let's look at this table of contents. That's the various acts of the game. Just going to teach us about how to play this game. But the main thing I want to look at... here are our heroes. There's... Ryu looks a lot older in this. He looks like he's approaching 30 in this. I also like Robert's big smile. He's happy to be here. Irene, it's not that bad. Irene's not that bad, but Ryu's the main one. It's like they couldn't... It's like the artist wasn't thinking about maybe like a hero like being a teenager, which Ryu clearly is, and just had to make him this big buff man. So that's our hero. The legend of the Dragon Ninja. So let's take a look at this. No one knows the origin of the ninja, for the roots of their arts lie hidden in the past. No one, absolutely no one can tell you where the ninja came from. For well over 1,000 years, the ninja and their skills at military espionage and martial arts played an important role in the shaping of Japanese history. Hidden in the mountainous and wild areas of Japan, the various ninja clans were shielded from contact from the outside world, and practiced the craft of ninjutsu in total secrecy. Was this Naruto? Beginning early in life, a young ninja trained rigorously to develop mental and physical toughness. As a teenager, the ninja student began training with all manners of weaponry, including swords, spears, and of course, shuriken. The student also learned other skills such as acting, disguise, acrobatics, and others unique to ninja society. So well kept were the ninja secrets that many of their deeds seemed magical to those uninitiated to their inner circle. And perhaps there was some magic at work? In modern times, the surviving ninja exist only in the shadows. To most people, the ninja are beings of legend, no longer existing in reality. But one ninja family, the Clan of Dragon, continues to fight the enemies of mankind, using their ninja skills and the clan's symbolic weapon passed down through generations, the mighty Dragon Sword. So, what I like is it mentions about how they learn, combat, they learn how to use weapons, but they also say that ninjas were trained in acting, disguise, acrobatics. I like the idea that maybe there's a ninja who excels at acting, but is not that good at the other parts. So this particular ninja can only be assigned to specific missions that require a high level of acting, but no combat. Because we're all good at different things. Ryu's not really much for acting, I don't think. He's more about fighting and swords, but there are some very charismatic acting ninjas, apparently. Let's look at the next page. Here's Jakio. Ryu Hayabusa's last quest started as a mission of vengeance to bring the killer of his father to justice. But before he knew it, he was drawn into a web of world-spanning adventure, battling a horrible plot to destroy mankind. Before he finally foiled the plan and defeated Jakio the Almighty Evil, Ryu fought many strange and powerful creatures from the realm of darkness. His adventure ended when Jakio's temple crumbled into rubble, his scheme in ruins. A year later, however, there are tremors of activity in the depths of the realm of darkness. Evil has reared its ugly head, and a shadowy figure known as Ashtar is about to stir up trouble for Ryu. Now, the thing I want to point out is very clear. It's very good. It is very good. Yeah. I like it a lot. But now, let's continue on to the story of Ninja Gaiden 2 with the first page of the comic. And to be fair here, Ashtar looks awesome in this. Here's the prologue. We have an enemy ninja who slips down from the sky. Jakio has been defeated. Just as I thought. What about the ninja? He knows nothing yet. Good. Continue the plan. What shall we do about the ninja dragon, sire? Nothing. No further need for him? At least, not for now. Follow the plan exactly. Now go. Yes, sire. Swish. The time has come when the gate of darkness is cast open. All men shall kneel before me. All shall hail me, Ashtar, as their new master. Ah ha ha ha. It's hard. Never really know how to laugh like that. It's just 1 year after the fateful battle with Jakio, a new adventure begins for Ryu Hayabusa, the ninja of the dragon sword. So Ashtar hanging out on his castle, just thinking about his plans, laughing about it, having a good time. Maybe he's not so bad. He knows how to laugh. Characters. Ryu Hayabusa, the ninja dragon. He is the ultimate ninja, a force of one against an army of evil. Although the ninja usually use stealth to accomplish his goals, he is also the master of many weapons and can hold his own in any battle. Combine Ryu's skill with the sword and his mastery of the various mystical ninja arts, and he is almost invincible. The ninja dragon is drawn into the fight by the kidnapping of Irene Liu. Irene made Ryu's acquaintance in the first adventure. Since then, Irene has been sent on a top-secret mission, leaving little time for the two to become better friends. A highly skilled secret agent, Irene is brave and tough, ready to risk any danger to fight the forces of evil. But is she ready to risk her life? That's what she did in the first game, so I would think yes. And also, yeah. That is, yes. More characters. There's Robert T. Sturgeon. So Robert T.S., the S stands for Sturgeon. Robert is a member of a U.S. Army Special Intelligence Unit that is working against Ashtar. His background in Special Forces includes intelligence and combat missions. He earned the nickname Jungle Rat Rob for his many talents in combat. As an advanced scout, he has been sent out by the army to recruit Ryu for the fight against Ashtar. They have reason to believe that Ryu is the only hope for defeating the armies of chaos being unleashed by Ashtar. And then we have the Emperor of Darkness, Ashtar. A new Master of Darkness, this shadowy figure stands atop a lightning-shrouded mountain, plotting the downfall not only of Ryu, but of the entire world. He possesses a self-confidence which is not unfounded, considering that he is the holder of the Dark Sword of Chaos, the evil twin of Ryu's shining dragon sword. These mighty weapons must clash, and to the winner, the world. So Ashtar, his head is quite small in this image. I think it's just trying to get across that he is very big. He is big and tall. Not exactly proportional, but he is big and tall. Enemies, so in the upper left, it says that the beings that make up the armies of chaos are from a realm beyond mortal comprehension. They are savage creatures that respect only one thing, Ashtar's power. They are not constrained by normal laws of physics and can appear magically out of thin air. Like clone barbarians, who is a clone of the original barbarian from the first game. Now, there are many enemies, and we could read the descriptions, but I think I will focus on the star of this page, Hustlin' Jim. Where he's from and where he goes, nobody knows, but you'd better not get in his way. He'll charge through and try to hit you with his knife on the way. We did encounter many Hustlin' Jims. They probably did not have names for these enemies. They were making these up, right? They have to have just been making these up, I would assume. It's Hustlin' Jim. Next page, many other enemies here. But I do have to focus on the star of this page, Running Stan, like his evil ally, Hustlin' Jim. Running Stan is in a hurry to commit a crime. He'll clobber you with his club as he goes by, unless you get him first. So, Running Stan and Hustlin' Jim are allies. They're working together to commit crimes. What I would like is a side story featuring Hustlin' Jim and Running Stan. I mean, I know it's called Ninja Gaiden, which means ninja side story, but I would like a side story of the side story. I want to know who these guys are. Why are they in such a hurry? I bet there would be many laughs and good times to be had with Hustle and Jim and running stands. Like they're a couple of small time criminals. They're in over their head, getting hired by Ashtar, the Emperor of Darkness, to fight this ninja who's killing everyone. And they're like, "This is not what I signed up for. I did not know I was getting into this. Look, we have to find a way out of this, Hustle and Jim. We have to find a way out of this." That's what their story would be about, I assume. Then you learn about the items. We know about these items, what they do. Ninja arts, these are our special moves. Techniques, split your body. We don't call them clones. You split your body. You can attack from the wall. You can do a swift kickoff jump from the wall. Look at this art. Act 1. Look at Ryu standing with the city as his backdrop. He's intense. Gotta take a drink. I really like some of the art in this, but something that kind of ruins it is when you notice that he's holding his sword in his mouth through his mask. And so you think about what that tastes like. Kind of ruins it a little bit. Feels real awkward. But here's Act 1, City Ambush. After a year's vacation from action, Ryu is attacked in the city by a group of unusual thugs. His only option is a battle to the death. We've all been there. As Ryu brawls up along the rooftops, you can follow his progress on the large map, which points out trouble spots and power-boosting items. The small map gives you the big picture of the area. Act 1 is the easiest part of Ryu's adventure, and you would do well to master the necessary techniques here where the pressure is less. You know, something I always kind of wondered about these kind of things. Did they take photos of the TV and then, like, splice the photos together to get these stage graphics? Kind of wonder how they did that back then, considering the technology that would have been available. That seems like a lot of work. But maybe. But for right now, let's think about Dando the Cursed. We actually get a bit more information, like the descriptions are not exactly the same. Dando the Cursed, a hulking, slime-covered beast, was once a sea-roving Viking warrior. Although his ship sank over 1,000 years ago, Ashtar was able to recover his spirit and give him a monstrous physical form using black magic. He is not fast-moving, but is very strong and tough. Having been enslaved by Ashtar, he is rather a dismal creature and wishes only to be released from his servitude. Oh, Dando the Sad. The appearance of Dando the Cursed is the first clue Ryu gets that the attacks on him are part of something much bigger than a simple mugging. Ryu will find that Dando is immune to attacks by the ninja arts, therefore the raw blade of the dragon sword must be used. Dando moves slowly at first. This is your chance to move in and attack. And after contacting him a few times, retreat and scale the wall. Dando will charge at you even if you scrambled out of reach. Just before he hits the wall, jump off so you land behind him. Attack and retreat until Dando is defeated. I just like saying Dando. I just like saying it. Although they're wrong, they say Ryu will find that Dando is immune to attacks by the ninja arts. That is not true. You can attack him with special moves. He is not immune. Now, who are these thugs? Ryu asks as he marvels at Dando's chiseled physique. Look at this man. This is like a specimen. Who are these thugs? They told me you were good. Go to the Tower Lahja if you want to save the girl. You mean? Yeah, Irene. No time to lose, Hayabusa. Move it out. But then, click. What the? Blam! Arg! Who are you? What the? Yeah, come on, Hayabusa. You may be the only one who can beat him, but there's no chance unless you hurry. The Tower of Lahja, Ryu thinks as he sweats outside of his mask. Some serious sweat drop right there. The journey to Lahja. Look at the atmosphere here. With Ryu pressing forward against the mountain winds which threaten to blow him away. It's very good art. It was only seen if you had the strategy guide. All right, we're on our way to the tower. From the city switchyard, Ryu hops a freight train heading in the direction of the remote Tower of Lahja. As the train speeds along to its destination, the servants of Chaos attack Ryu. He must battle his way to the train's engine to escape. Okay, Ryu did hitch a ride. He did not pay for a ticket. He just jumped on the train, which I guess as a ninja is legally okay for him to do, I suppose. Attacking Jackson, yeah, it mentions up there. The Jasons are called Jacksons. Don't use the name Jason. Act 2. Ryu jumps off the train near the Tower of Lahja and begins his assault up the mountain on which the tower stands. A howling windstorm of powerful intensity rages about the mountain, conspiring to prevent Ryu from making his ascent. Bent on rescuing Irene, Ryu is not deterred. So it's windy. Don't get blown away by the wind. We know this. But then you run into Baron Spider, leader of the Tribesmen of Chaos. A scientific accident at the clandestine Zabel Biological Laboratories transformed a human professor into this half-spider, half-human mutant. Baron Spider has superhuman jumping powers and an ability. He can summon and control giant tarantulas. Noting these powerful evil abilities, Ashtar enlisted him as a leader of his Tribesmen of Chaos. Would you call those evil abilities? He can jump high, and he can summon spiders. Well, tarantulas. I don't think those are necessarily evil abilities. They're more like neutral abilities. You could do either good or evil with those abilities. Baron Spider, a leader of the Tribesmen of Chaos, taunts Ryu while perched on a platform seemingly out of reach. He attacks by casting giant tarantulas at his enemies. To defeat him, climb up the wall until you're level with him and jump towards him. If you make it onto the platform with him, rapidly strike with the dragon sword. Even if you don't make it onto his platform, he should jump to the ground. Strike swiftly, and you'll have another opportunity to attack him there. After you hit him with your sword on the ground a few times, he'll jump back up. The wind makes it difficult, but by repeating this process, victory will be yours. You tried to ambush me. Who are you? We are tribesmen from the world of chaos, led by the Emperor of Darkness, Ashtar. Ashtar, the Emperor of Darkness. And now we're on to the Deadly Tower, where Ryu is shooting a Hadouken at a bird. You see, the illustrator knew that the biggest threat in the game are the birds. So here we have a good illustration of that happening. Reaching the top of the mountain puts Ryu in the sight of the Tower of Lahja. Ryu must cross a bridge of crumbling stone during a lightning storm of startling magnitude to enter the tower. When not lit by the lightning flashes, the terrain is pitch black. If you pause the game, the lightning will continue to flash, enabling you to see what's ahead, but keeping you safe from attack and conserving time on the clock. Continue when you're ready. Oh, pro strats! Pause the game when the lightning flashes so you can spend more time seeing what the room looks like. And it does say that the Tower of Lahja is an ancient structure of obviously evil design, although its past history lies shrouded in mystery. At present, Irene Liu is being held there by an evil force from beyond, and her only hope of rescue is Ryu, Hayabusa. It's obviously evil. How could you think otherwise? You go through, and then you reach the tower. Designed by the mad architects of chaos, the Tower of Lahja was not constructed with the comfort of human beings in mind, although it does have quite a few creature comforts. There are stairways that end in midair and lead nowhere, and treacherous gaps unleapable, wasn't sure what that word was, except by chaos creatures and expert ninja like Ryu. Windows look out over the landscape, which seems somehow darkened by the growing gloom of the rising power of chaos. What will Ryu find in this evil place? The mad architects of chaos. That's where this came from. That's where the tower came from. So, of course, you're going through the tower until you reach Funky Dynamite. Reptilian super cyborg, science and sorcery are the twin tools used by Ashtar in forging his evil schemes. Funky Dynamite, the result of Ashtar's experiments with bionic cyborg technology, is equipped with a powerful rocket propulsion system and attacks with throwing stars and firebombs. His bizarre design was inspired by the shape of a lizard. I still really like the name. On the roof of the Tower of Lahja, Funky Dynamite flits about, programmed to destroy anyone who makes it this far. This amazing cyborg can only be damaged while in the air, making it vulnerable to the art of the fire wheel. Cut loose with this art if you have it. You can also jump and slash at him in midair, but it's difficult to do without taking damage yourself. Like, why would they name it this? I really like the name, but I don't know why they would call it that. Still, it's an inspired name. Ryu! Irene, are you all right? I see you are still alive, ninja. Take that! Zap! He zaps him. Ah! I find it hard to believe that a weakling like you was able to defeat Jokio. You, Ashtar, that sword. Some warrior you turned out to be. Die, little ninja. Little ninja. No. Bang. What the? Who are you? How did you get in here, you sewer rat? Hand over the sword and surrender. The tower is completely surrounded. Ryu! If you want the sword, you'll have to follow me into the maze of darkness. Irene! And Siege kind of flies away. Just kind of fly, I guess. He can fly. Why not? Maze of Darkness, Act 4. In the top, you can see the water coming out of a skull, even though we know it's not water. It's actually dinosaur saliva. It's a lot of dinosaur saliva. In the lower left, you can see like this little squat guy with an axe. He looks real mad. He's about to fight Ryu. He looks real grumpy. Ryu disturbed him. He woke him up. He's not happy about that. It's the Maze of Darkness, Act 4. Beneath the dreadful Tower of Lahja is tunneled the Maze of Darkness. Penetrating into the heart of the mountain on which the tower stands, the maze is lit by mystical fires from the realm of chaos and crawling with killer creatures. Although the first part of the maze is relatively easy, as you progress you'll be encountering some frustrating pillar jumps. Be sure you've mastered all of your techniques. Now is where complete mastery will pay off. Oh, Robert catches Ryu in time to see Ashtar make off. Ashtar make off, not make out, make off with Irene. Since Robert knows what's behind Ashtar's plot, Ryu has a chance to ask him a few questions about Ashtar's sword. Robert knows the legends behind the Dark Sword of Chaos and tells Ryu that Ashtar's sword has not reached the peak of its power. Ryu must stop him before the evil sword is fully powered. That's right, the sword's only at 50% power. Hasn't even shown its true power yet. Then everything's on fire, as we know. Did it mention the fire? Not sure if it mentioned that everything's on fire. Oh yeah, mystical fires from the realm of chaos. That's why everything is on fire. The fires come from the realm of chaos. Ahem. What is this stuff? This bizarre blue substance is nothing like the real world. It must be from the world of chaos. That's right. That's where it came from. It's nothing like the real world. Deeper into the Maze of Darkness, Ryu finds strange rivers which originate from the mouths of bizarre statues. The blue substance flows like water and can carry you along like some sort of liquid magic carpet. Treacherous jumps and perilous platforms also await Ryu's challenge. I like how the strategy guide is specifically mentioning it's not water. We've never seen anything like it. And then we get to Nagasatuva, the underworld water dragon. Nagasatuva embodies all the ferocious qualities of predatory dinosaurs of prehistoric times. The stationary guardian is all that remains of a dinosaur that somehow wandered into the underworld millions of years ago. Preserved by the cave's proximity to the magical realm of chaos, the creature became the guardian of the Maze of Darkness. Okay. It's just an ancient dinosaur that has become an evil magic dinosaur now. It's a shame. You hate to see it. Only the head of this strange monstrosity is vulnerable, but it is defended by 2 gigantic clawed hands which reap slowly back and forth beneath it. Although the head can be damaged with ninja arts, it's just as quick to hit it with sword thrusts, especially using phantom doubles. Stand on the platform opposite of where the monster's hand appears, then jump repeatedly, hitting the hand with your sword, ninja art or phantom double. And then the other hand appears and reaches for you, jump down to the other platform to avoid it. Repeat this process, scoring 2 or 3 hits each time. You'll defeat it in no time. No problem. What is he after? What does he want from me? Hear me, ninja. Ashtar, come out and fight, or the girl gets it. Don't do it, Ryu. They'll kill you. Show yourself. Or are you too much of a coward? Ha 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 ha. You fiend. Irene, I'll save you. Okay, so a giant image of Ashtar appears. In the game, we just see like Ryu standing there, and then Ashtar's giant head appears behind him. This is how they interpret that scene in the comic. The Wrath of Ashtar, Act 5. Ryu is in Antarctica, fighting a giant spider. We've all been there. You're not through the Maze of Darkness yet, not by a long run. More diabolical drops and devious deceptions await Ryu. You'll have to use your ninja arts wisely to conserve your ninja power for challenges ahead. It's actually not true. You get a lot of ninja magic. You really don't need to save it. You keep getting more. And then, hot in pursuit of Ashtar, Ryu breaks out of the Maze of Darkness only to be momentarily blinded by a dazzling world of mountains and ice. How did he end up here? In the realm of chaos, anything is possible. The eerie landscape throbs with sub-zero energy, as cold as Ashtar's evil heart. Surfaces are icy and difficult to run on, let alone climb. Accomplishing the swift kickoff maneuver to get on top of a hurdle is a true test of climbing skill. I like how the strategy guide does admit, what's going on? I don't know. Look, Realm of Chaos, anything's possible. Who can say? What we do know is that this whole place is throbbing with, cold energy. As Ryu speeds through the Maze of Darkness, Ashtar's wicked prophecy echoes in his mind. To the one who releases darkness with the immortal blood, he shall receive the power of an almighty evil. The legend shall come true. This earth shall fall into shadow, and the servants of evil shall rule forever. The words chill Ryu to his bones and fill him with Ryu determination. I'll get you, Ashtar. He'll get him. He will. And then at the end of this, we encounter Ashtar. Show yourself, Ashtar. At last, the foolish little ninja is ready to fight. Take the girl. Ryu. Irene. But Ashtar pulls his arm back and then zwap. Ah, Ryu. Irene. Ryu. Irene. Don't die. Ha ha ha! See how the sword of chaos trembles with delight. I'm totally talking about the sword. It's not a metaphor for anything else. It's a sword. This scene is illustrated a bit better than it is in the game, where in the game Irene just kind of falls forward, and then Ryu just kind of walks on her. It's like how the motion goes. But this one, you can clearly see that he is catching her and holding her, so it's a bit clearer. Oh no, they got Irene. But then Ashtar zits and then crash into Robert. Ah! Back off, you bothersome swine! I'll deal with you later. Robert, take care of Irene. Ashtar, as the sword goes, zee, zee, zee. That kind of sound it makes, and Ashtar's sword goes, wong, wong, wong.
So, your inner power is beginning to show itself, huh? But you could never touch me with a sword so filled with hatred, fool.
Enough of your games, Ashtar. This is between you and me.
You dare to battle with Ashtar? Foolish ninja. I'll show you just how powerless you really are.
And unfortunately, this is the end of the comic, because they didn't want to spoil the end of the game. But it does tell us how to beat Ashtar. Ashtar, the Emperor of Darkness, superhuman in stature and power. Ashtar is obviously from a world far beyond Earth. His residence is in the world of chaos. When the Gate of Darkness was closed by Ryu after he defeated Jakio, Ashtar schemed to cast it open again, unleashing the host of chaos upon the Earth. His sword, the evil counterpart of Ryu's dragon sword, was to make all this possible. This is it. Sword to sword against Ashtar, the Emperor of Darkness. Ashtar will appear and disappear randomly throughout his chamber. Before he appears, a ring of fireballs will converge on the spot where he will materialize. After he's visible, fireballs will shoot out from his center again. He will fade away. He's only vulnerable at that moment when he's visible, after the fireballs have come together. The fireballs have the same pattern coming and going. Once you see the pattern, they follow going in. Rush in and stand in a spot where they won't hit you as they go out. Strike Ashtar with your sword and ninja art, aiming at his sword for best results. So, it still kind of confuses me. It says sword to sword against Ashtar, but he never uses his sword. It's like the oddest choice of this game. Like, Ashtar's whole thing is that he has the evil sword. He doesn't actually do anything with it. I don't know. It always seemed weird to me. And then we have this, the Castle of Chaos. Ryu standing above some ruins with the moon against him. Ashtar's dying words revealed a fearful prophecy to Ryu and his friends. According to Irene, an evil altar was being prepared by Ashtar to open the Gate of Darkness. Only Ryu can destroy this wicked device. Ryu parts company, leaving the injured Irene in Robert's care. Deeper into the ruins of Ashtar's fortress, Ryu plunges, determined to rid the world of all traces of Ashtar's plans. He has to stop Sniper Joe. We all have to stop our own Sniper Joes, really. Once you get through that, it says, thoroughly disoriented by the madhouse passageways of the Maze of Darkness, Ryu stands before an alien vista, never before looked upon by human eyes. Is this an earthly vision? Or has he somehow entered the world of darkness? A twisting, rocky causeway leads to a tower which radiates pure evil. The sky glows with a harsh, forbidding red, and the sea of color of blood laps at the edge of the bridge. Onward, Ryu! To victory. So the sea was the color of red. So maybe like this and Siren take place in the same universe. Maybe Ryu has entered the other world, which is where that castle is. You know, it could fit together. I think it could fit. And then you fight Kelberos, Jakio's loyal pet. The legends say that Jakio's pet dog, Kelberos, once died for the cause of darkness, but returned to his master as an evil creature twice as powerful as before. Not only was the canine given a monstrous form, but also a sort of phantom double, which, although it looks real, cannot be hit. Although Ryu defeated these beasts in his first adventure, they returned from the dead once, so why not again? And can their master be far behind? Spoilers, strategy guide! You don't want to give that away. Intruders to the sinister fortress are greeted by a pair of leaping dog-like creatures which will be familiar to those who followed Ryu's last adventure, the Kelberos. Only one of them can be damaged, the other is invulnerable. You must determine which can take damage by watching the enemy strength meter, and concentrate on hitting that one. Which dog is mortal and which dog is not will vary every time you encounter them. I don't think that's true. I think it's always the same one. Use your sword to parry the plasma blobs that Kelberos bark at you. And then, the almighty evil Act 6, Ryu hunches down on this weird alien terrain as the image of Ashtar is behind him. I mean, Ashtar's dead at this point, but, maybe it's a spirit. Again, I really like some of the artwork in this. It's really nice. The weird and alien decor of this final fortress is stunning to human senses. Walls dripping with slime and graven snake designs bespeak speak the obvious evilness of the inhabitants. Upon battling his way into the castle, Ryu meets up with Robert and learns that Irene has been recaptured by the forces of darkness. As Robert makes his final stand covering Ryu's flank, the last dragon ninja leaps into the fray. Doesn't really mention... No, it does mention walls dripping with slime. Just as long as it mentions the slime is pretty prominent here. And then, this really is the heart of the fortress. Judging from the pulsating organs displayed on the walls, Ryu's adventure is almost done, and he will finally meet the real mastermind behind Ashtar and the dark Sword of Chaos. You're on your own in this last scene, and you'll have to use every ninja's skill at your disposal to make it to the end. Will Ryu triumph again over the forces of darkness? Will Irene and Robert make it through alive? Finish the game and find out yourself. See? They can't tell you. You have to finish the game yourself. Move it out, Hayabusa, as it says, and they show you there what the last boss looks like. It's like to tantalize you, right? And I have to admit that this totally sold me on Ninja Gaiden 2. I think I got this with my Nintendo Power subscription. I think it just came with it. So I really liked Ninja Gaiden 1, and then I read this, I'm like, oh, this is awesome! I gotta get this game right now! Gotta play it right now, it's urgent! And then here is a gamer. That is a capital G, early 90s gamer. He's telling you, Nintendo Power. That's where you get the strategies for DuckTales on the NES. You can subscribe, get your own, and save big. The back cover. So that's the Nintendo Power Strategy Guide. But there still is one more part of it, and that is the strategy guide came with a fold-out about ninja methods and history. Why don't we learn about ninjas, since we're playing Ninja Gaiden 2? What we'll do, make that full size. Although many ninja techniques have been lost over time, and indeed many were never understood by outsiders, a few are known to historians and martial arts researchers. An example of the versatility and resourcefulness of the ninja can be illustrated by studying their multi-purpose equipment and a few of their tricks. Let's talk about their sword. Ninja always carried their sword strapped to their backs, so when not in use it would not interfere with their movements. The straighter ninja sword was different from a curved samurai sword in shape and use. The scabbard, sword casing, was a multi-purpose tool. It could serve as a blowgun, a hiding place for small objects, and a snorkel-like breathing tube. That's why I carry one. Mainly it's for like the small objects. Can hide things in it. You never know when you might need a blowgun either. With the sharp end of the sword casing thrust into the ground, the sword could be used as a step to help the ninja reach the top of a wall. In addition, the large hilt or handguard of the ninja sword could be used as a tool to remove nails, for example. That's just one example. It could do a lot of things, but it could remove nails. Down here, we can learn about ninja knowledge. Through their detailed study of nature, the ninja learned many techniques that assisted them during their missions. Careful observation of his surroundings gave the ninja helpful information. Since these techniques are based on the unchanging principles of nature, they could still be used today, such as the cat's eye clock. The sensitive eye of the common cat dilates differently depending on the time of day. By looking at a cat's pupil, the ninja could tell approximately what time it was. The only thing preventing the ninja from inventing the first wristwatch was the cat's refusal to stay on its arm. Was this exclusive to the ninja? Because you'd figure that more people would know than just ninja, you know? It doesn't seem like the ninja would have a monopoly on this particular piece of information. Tree compass. A tree's growth rings, affected by the sun's position in the sky, are further apart on the south side of a tree than on the north side. A ninja armed with this knowledge could use a fallen tree in the forest as a compass. Man, this is going to help me kill a lot of people. Ooh, the ninja footwear, the waraji. Form and function were important in the ninja's footwear, called waraji as well. With a sole made of tightly woven straw or fiber, traction was excellent on slippery surfaces. The split toe facilitated scaling barriers like the sheer walls of enemy fortresses. So this explains how Ryu was able to climb walls. Here's the Kasari Katabira. Because the need for stealth, speed, and silence, the ninja did not wear armor, but in certain cases, a ninja might have worn Kusari Katabira under his ninja uniform, similar in appearance to chainmail, but lighter. It protected his heart from blows that managed to get through his defenses. I mean, if the ninja wasn't any good, like if the ninja couldn't dodge blows, I guess the ninja could wear armor. This is a full-length picture of the ninja with all the ninja tools. It's very genuine and authentic. The Shinobi Zukin, the ninja mask. The ninja mask completed his uniform and left only a small part of his face uncovered, allowing him to hide in the shadows and become invisible in darkness. A Shinobi Zukin can be made of a square yard of lightweight, dark cloth. The ninja first folded the cloth into a triangle, put it over his head, held it as shown in the photo. He then tied the ends and back and arranged the cloth so the back of his head was hidden. I mean, this is actually useful information these days. Ancient information coming back into the modern day. If you want to go outside, you probably should do this first. You never know what information you might need from our ancestors. Well, these aren't my ancestors, these are the Japanese, but ancestors of various people can have a lot of different information that might help us in the modern day, like how to cover your face. Climbing tool, the Kaginawa. Many different types of climbing tools and hooks assisted the ninja in tackling more difficult obstacles. The rope or chain attached to the Kaginawa was light and thin, but very strong, and was also suitable for use by the resourceful ninja to bind captured foes or lay traps. And lastly, ninja throwing blades, shuriken. One of the most well-known ninja weapons was the shuriken. These existed in many varieties, and like all ninja weapons, are not toys. They are popular in motion pictures, but were really only a small part of the ninja arsenal. Yes, these are not toys. Those rubber throwing stars you bought are not authentic, and they're an insult to the proud ninja. There you go. Ninja methods and history, all completely authentic and genuine. I gotta learn how to tell the time by looking in the eyes of a cat. Then I won't need to pull out my phone anymore when I need to know what time it is. I can just find a cat, pick up the cat and stare in its eyes, and it's like, okay, I got it. I know what time it is. It's much more accurate also as well. Well, I think that's probably going to be it for our look at Ninja Gaiden 2, The Dark Sword of Chaos. Like Ninja Gaiden 1, like I said, one of my favorite games on the NES. And I really enjoyed looking at this strategy guide because, like I said, I had the strategy guide when I was a kid. Don't know where it is now, of course, but I just remembered about it, remembered the comic that it had, so looked it up online, and just really enjoyed looking through this again. Once again, this was found on the Nintendo Power Archive, so thank you, Nintendo Power Archive, for that. So that's 2 out of the 3 games in the NES Ninja Gaiden trilogy. There still is one more, Ninja Gaiden 3, and maybe someday we will take a look at that. But for tonight, this has been our look at Ninja Gaiden 2, The Dark Sword of Chaos.